over the last 6 months on this channel, I've pretty much exclusively been covering kids' meal toys, and I've tried my best to just kind of go through these in a timeline and not really share my opinion too much on them. I do put in some comments here and there, but today, to kind of mix things up for myself, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to rank every single Happy Meal that was nationally released in the 1990s. Make sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. We're going to tackle these tier by tier. We're going to start at the bottom with the F tier. So let's get going. So we're going to start off with what I think is the absolute worst Happy Meal of the 1990s, and that's from 1991. This Good Morning Happy Meal set where you can get a toothbrush. I think it's really lame, so that's why it's at the bottom. Another Happy Meal from 1991 is going to be next up. These are just some little activity books, something that most people would look down on if they're coming out today. A sticker book, a paint and reveal book, which is like you put water on it and then it shows you what colors are on the page, and then like an adventure storybook. If this was the Happy Meal, I'd be like, hey, let's go to a different restaurant. This is the first one that's an actual toy that I have in the F tier. I have no nostalgia for the Mighty Ducks cartoon. If you do, I'm sure this one would be higher on your personal list, but they're just like little pucks that slide around. It's not doing anything for me. These field trip Happy Meals from 1993 are really low for me. Some of this stuff is fun to do, but one of the things you get is just an explorer bag. Is really just kind of lame. In the history of Happy Meals, there's a lot of different toys that are food. And this one is easily my least favorite. They're just like single French fries. They're bendable. I do like that. The rubber that's got the wires inside of them. That's always a fun thing. Like those bendable, like Gumby toys. But these ones are just weird. I just don't like the way that these things look at all. I don't find them appealing. The Berenstain Bears are next up in the F tier. I feel bad for putting them this low, but it's just a book. Obviously, it's better than some of those activity books they were giving out earlier, but still, for me, it's easily F tier. This Space Rescue set from 1995 is in the F tier because of just how underwhelming it is. There's not really anything wrong with the toys, but the fact there's only 4 of them in there, and just look at this like display, and this looks like they're not even trying. And the last F tier for me is going to be these behind the scenes Happy Meals, which are based off of a PBS show. Um, in theory, I like this a lot, right? Because I like movies. I talk about movies a ton on the channel, at least I used to. But the toys themselves, I don't know. I just think that they're kind of lame. That brings us into the D tier. The first one we're going to have here is the Young Astronaut set. This one very much gives off current day Wendy's vibes. If you've watched any of the Wendy's videos that I put out recently, a lot of these kind of like paper based toys show up, and this is a lot like that. There's a thing you can build, it's like low quality material. Yeah, it's just not something that I would be excited to get. Now, I was kind of tempted to put these 1991 McBoo bags in the F tier, but honestly, I couldn't justify it. They're very disappointing to me. I love the buckets that come up at Halloween time in McDonald's Happy Meals, and we're going to see those a little bit later on. These ones are definitely a step down. They knew that. They went back to the buckets after this. This Earth Day set from 1994. I'm sure for some people it'd be pretty cool. I'm just not the key audience for this one. This Making Movies set is very similar to the behind the scenes one that was down in the F tier, but I do like the toys a little bit more. I think that they kind of fit the theme. I like the clapper too. I think that it's something that if you are into making movies, getting that in a kid's meal is actually pretty cool. Ball hacky sacks that they would put out in different designs. They show up all over the place, and they were regional at first, but then eventually they became nationwide releases. They're very iconic. Like I had a ton of these, but I don't know, they fell apart really easily. They weren't super durable. And again, I have other toys that I can play with that are like this already. So, for me, they're not that high, but they can be pretty nostalgic, I'm sure, for some people. Gravedale High is going to be the next D tier for me. I don't know anything about this show. The toys aren't doing anything. I don't even know what the thing on the right is supposed to be. So, yeah, we're going to enter a little phase where I'm going to have all of the toys that are vehicles based off of the McDonald Land characters. This is what I think is the worst one. I think the quality of these just looks not great. It looks like really cheap plastic. Also, that car that Ronald is driving, I just don't like the shape of it. These ones are next up. Again, not the highest quality of plastic, but I think that they are a little more unique, and Ronald's car that he's driving doesn't look weird. Putting the McDonald's land characters on trikes, it's pretty much the same as like the Muppet Babies that we're going to see later on. So it's like a rip off of something else. And they can come off of the trikes though, which is kind of cool, but then they're in like this weird sitting position, so they're not like good for anything. This set is more circus based. I like that it's got a theme. Theming like this, I think, is always fun, but it is not something where I would ever be excited to be like, oh, I've got to go to McDonald's like so I can get that weird uh, fry guy riding an elephant. I like that these ones can connect to each other. The playground theme, technically not vehicles, but still has the characters sitting in like their weird little positions. So yeah, I mean, whatever. This one I think is the best out of all of them. The card designs are simple. It looks like you could actually use these toys and they wouldn't like fall apart. So yeah, that's why these ones are my favorite out of those different McDonald Lands characters in cars. These toys for the Rescuers Down Under are kind of lame, but I do like that movie, and so anything that kind of ties into it makes me be a little bit excited. The fact that you just kind of look through and you can like see a picture from the movie really doesn't offer up much. Like once you use this toy a little bit, it's like, what am I gonna do? Like sit at home and just continually look through this. To be fair, it was 1990. That is something that people would do because there weren't a lot of options, I guess. I like this gardening set that came out in 1991 because it's got seeds in it. So, the fact that you can actually go out there and be productive and see some growth from that is always a good time. I know that this still stands up. My kids love it when they plant something and they bring it home from school and it starts to sprout up. They're like, oh, look how cool this is. So I think that this is kind of like a universal thing that kids like. And so, yeah, it's also nice to get some um, quality, at least for the price gardening stuff. This Nature Watch one is very similar. I'm starting to think I might have been a little too harsh on that Earth Day one earlier, but I'm not looking back at this point with how I have these ranked. This camping set could be pretty fun, but if you're not able to actually use these things, like if your parents are lame, like I am lame as a parent, like don't use that. It's going to be so hard to clean. And then if you don't clean it out too, it gets all gross, and then you have to throw it away. Yeah, I don't know. That's why this one kind of stays down there for me because of just the potential of it just getting put in the trash. Some of the rankings on these, I don't really have a good reason as to why it might be so low. That's kind of where I am when it comes to like these Tangle toys from Nickelodeon. Um, they're kind of fun. I guess some people could look at it and be like, oh, look at it. You can design and make your own things. I just don't like the way that they look. This set from Doug's first movie, I'm honestly surprised I put it as low as I did, but I don't have any want to put it higher. I like Doug. I like this movie even when I saw it. It's been, goodness, too long since I've seen it, probably. It's not necessarily like awful bad, but there's nothing in me that wants to get any of these toys. The same goes for like this Hunchback set. Like you might look at this and be like, "No, those are cool," or "I remember having this or that one." But like, no, thank you. There's nothing in this one. Not a single one of these toys where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I would like to play with that one." This Peter Pan set is very similar. Again, I just look at these and I'm just like, why? I know that there's fans of VR Troopers because we know about that in the comments when I put out the original video. But if I was a fan of VR Troopers and these were the toys that were up for grabs, I would be disappointed. Like, give me a figure, give me a car, something. The Big Bad Beetleborg toys are very similar. I do put them above the VR Troopers because at least they kind of like the morpher type things. I don't remember all the verbiage on this. I'm sure people are going to let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this one just a little bit of a step up, but not much. This is the second set that Mulan did. Definitely the lesser of the two. Um, yeah, these ones with the spinning tops and like the shooters, but they're just like half of bodies and everything. I'm not liking it. I did mention that I like the Halloween pails. We're going to see some more of those later on. This one's here in D tier because it's got the art when they did like the Ronald McDonald cartoon series. You could buy videotapes of at the McDonald's, and yeah, it's just kind of like just a bucket that's got drawings on the side of it. Though it does have the cookie cutter lid, which is pretty great. The M Squad Happy Meal toys are like spy based, but also McDonald land based. So it's kind of a weird combo. The last one I'm going to put into D tier are going to be these Lego sets that, again, are kind of based off of that redesign of Ronald McDonald from the cartoon that they were putting out. Um, they're Legos, so you can't put them too crazy low, right? Because you can at least still use them to build things. But the fact that they have these weirdo printed versions of like the Hamburglar and Ronald on them makes them a little less appealing to me. So yeah, that's going to finish out the D tier. That's going to take us up to C tier. And in the C tier, these are ones where it's like, okay, it's fine that I'm getting these. I'm really here or nor there of it. There might be one toy in the set that you could be like, yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get. But overall, nothing to get too excited about. First up, we got the Jim Henson Muppet Workshop Happy Meal toys. They're interchangeable. That's always fun. They're not like the actual Muppets. And so if they were maybe had some of those recognizable characters in there, I'd be a little more excited. But here it's just some things where you can just kind of switch around some different parts. I remember the Jungle Book set. It was pretty disappointing because it was like essentially the Halloween set that year. It came with candy, nothing to do with Halloween. I always like it when there's the Halloween toys at any of these kids' meal places. So the fact that this is it when it comes to that year, it's a bit disappointing. Always good to get candy. I mean, I always think getting candy is good. And nerds, when it comes to candy, are pretty good. These 101 Dalmatian, the series cars are like the reversible ones. We're going to see this kind of gimmick again. But with these characters, I don't really care about them at all. I did have a couple of these cars actually, and they're probably in a bucket in my parents' closet. Another car set, this time with the Looney Tunes characters. Each one of these cars does a different thing. Like Taz spins around in circles, Daffy splits in half, Bugs is stretches. Uh, I know that there's going to be people who do like these ones, but for me, not really. Same thing is going to go for these Muppet Baby toys. I do like that they have different types of vehicles. They're not all just tricycles. Another vehicle set, this time with the Animaniacs characters, is here. These ones are all stretching based, like with those accordion things. I do like the Animaniacs character wise more than some of the other ones that we just mentioned, and so that's why they're just a little bit higher. Here we have Jim Henson's The Muppets actually showing up, and so they end up higher. These ones are bath toys, had the Fozzie and the barrel, so yeah, I remember these ones pretty fondly. Mystic Knights of Trinagog. I probably said that one wrong again. I got raked over the coals for mispronouncing that in my original video. But this one gets to be in the C tier, even though I have no nostalgia for this set for a couple reasons. Um, they're actual action figures, which I do like. I like it when McDonald's is like, hey, here's what you would want from toys on this. From this property, but it's just a smaller version of it. But then also it has the bit where you can collect the different pieces to put together a dragon. So anything that's going to incentivize you to go out and find everything does, I think, make a fun Happy Meal set. Bobby's World has a set of toys that are vehicle based. I like these ones because they're two vehicles in one, but not in that they can transform. But you can just kind of put one thing over the other, and it lets you and it ties into the way that the show works, where it's like his imagination. So it's like he's on an inflatable, but he's thinking like he's in a submarine. Or this Hercules set is the second Hercules set that McDonald's did. They would, especially for these Disney movies, put out one when it came out in theaters and then one when it came out on home release. The home release ones usually were subpar. So this is one where it's like I like the characters. There is like a sword that you can get in there, which is always cool. And some things that look like they were from the movie, like the drink cup. But especially compared to the first Hercules set, this is way down there. This Power Ranger movie set is kind of similar to the like VR Troopers and the Big Bad Beetleborg set earlier, except for I actually have nostalgia for Power Rangers. So I do like these a little bit more with like the communicator and the morpher. But honestly, when you were coming to McDonald's at this time and you wanted to get Power Rangers toys, you're going to want to get the deluxe toys that came with like a value meal. Like they actually had little action figures and the Zords. That's what you wanted, not this. Michael Jordan's Fitness Fun Happy Meals I like because it's simple. It's got decent branding, right? Because Michael Jordan, everybody loved Michael Jordan. It's weird that it was a bunch of different sports and not just basketball themed, but I don't know. You could get decent quality stuff here. The Sleeping Beauty set was also like a back to school set. So each one of these toys was also like a school supply thing. So there was like a pen, there was a paper punch, a bunch of different stuff in there. So this Back to the Future set is pretty much only in C tier because of the DeLorean that Doc Brown is driving. I think it's really cool. Branding on this set here, the Lost Arches being like Indiana Jones, helps bump this one up. I do like it when they have these toys that look like one thing, but they're actually something else. It looks like a phone, but it's actually a periscope, stuff like that. The Tom and Jerry band set, I've got no reason to put it this high, outside of the fact that I just think it's funny. I like the dog wearing like a Hawaiian shirt. I like that they're a band. I think it's a good time. Jungle Book's back again, this time with toys that are just toys. So a little higher, not a disappointment because it's a Halloween. So that's why these ones get to be up there. These toys based on the books of Eric Carle are, I think, a good example of giving something that doesn't really exist outside of the Happy Meals. Like, I don't know where else, at least back then, you were going to find toys like this. I like that they got the Hungry Caterpillar in there. The Peanuts characters are here because, of course, Snoopy has to show up in any video that I make. I don't know if there's been a single series since I started doing these timeline videos and everything that he hasn't shown up in. Um, this one is fine. It's kind of weird to me that they're on the farm. It's not the first thing I think of when I think of the Peanuts characters, but again, fun branding. So, yeah. The branding is the only thing that gets this toy as high as it is. I don't think that these toys that just kind of throw the ball for recess are that fun, but I would be excited to get a little figure of any of these characters. I love Recess, and it's a show that doesn't get a ton of merchandise, and so as a fan of it, this could be something to actually collect. Nostalgia is going to be something that pushes this one up as high as it is. This Magic School Bus set. I mentioned in the original video that I did have like the protractor, stencil, outer space piece here, and I used it all the time. I would use it all the time. I remember tracing that Saturn numerous times using the little Big Dipper little polka dot thing there on there as well. This is probably one of the reasons why I knew all the names of the planets. This and the episode of Blue's Clues where they sing the song about it. If you know, you know. These inflatable beach toys are a good time, especially like Birdie in the little submarine. This other summer set I think is nice because of the variety that's in there. I had three of these four toys. We had the bucket, we had the sunglasses, and we had that inflatable beach ball with the hot air balloon in it. This one really brings back memories for me personally. The McDonald's Potato Head Kid set, pretty good. They were over at Wendy's too. Some people thought they were only at Wendy's. We got interchangeable costumes and everything. I think it's pretty fun. I like that they're like little potatoes. I like potatoes. What can I say? Busy World of Richard Scarry is next up. Each one of these toys comes with a building and a car. I think you're getting a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to this, and I like this. You're getting a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to these toys. So, yeah. 1995 Polly Pocket Attack Pack set is only this high because of the number 4 toy. It's just a super cool design. It's super fun. The final C tier one ties in with the Flintstones live action movie. It's very similar to that Richard Scarry set. We got buildings and cars for each one of the toys. Lots of bang for your buck. I like the theming, the cool bedrock. The only thing that would keep it out of B tier is the fact that it's designs of the characters from the live action instead of like the cartoon. So you just got like a weird looking Rick Moranis Barney instead of Barney Rubble. At the first off, we got Ghostbusters. This isn't higher just because it's like bike accessories. If you don't have a bike, which some people don't, you just have this weird stuff now. I like this Winnie the Pooh clip set. There's a lot of characters that be stoked to get, right? Piglet's good, Tigger's good, Pooh, Eeyore, right? Even Gopher. I'm not going to be that excited if I get Rabbit, right? You get Rabbit, it's like, oh, that's the lame one. I mean, I say that as probably being Rabbit the most, which is not a fun thing to say as a human being. But you know, you get that toy, and you're like, well, fine then. Then we got the spinning sky dancers and micro machines set here. I think micro machines are always awesome. Lots of good memories playing with micro machines, specifically Star Wars ones for me as a kid. But these ones are cool too. I like that there's some real differences in the vehicles that they have. They are not similar at all. So yeah, good set. I feel like these end of the year Christmas sets that are the Tonka Cabbage Patch Kids are kind of like the dollar store version of the Hot Wheels Barbie sets we're going to see here in just a little bit. I do think that they're good though. I'm not, yeah, not a, I was never a huge Tonka guy, but these ones were still fun to play with, and we definitely had some of them around the house. This one I have ranked just a little bit above that last one because I like the greater, that number 7. Shout out to my granddad. He used to drive one of those for a living. Like I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of the different Halloween toys you can get at McDonald's. This one is where it's at because it's definitely better than the things we've seen so far, but it's not going to stack up quite so well with the ones that are up ahead. You do get candy with it, which is always nice. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that it's just like a bust of the characters, right? Just from like the chest up instead of like full-fledged costumes. So this is where we're going to find all of the Barbies in the Hot Wheels. Now I know for some people these are definitely going to be higher up. You might have some in the S tier. I would not be surprised to hear that from people, but this is where they're going to land for me. So this is my ranking of the different Barbie and Hot Wheels sets you could get in the 1990s. The lowest one of these is going to be the Mini Streaks. I think the Barbies are fine, but the launching of these guys that just kind of glide across the table, like they're not cars, right? So if you lose that launcher, you're losing some of the fun of the toy. Now, because we're up in the B tier, I don't want you to think that there are any bad versions of these, but this one is the next one. None of the car designs really jump out to me. Some of the Barbies are fun though, like with the one that has a cake and the one that's got a dog. So that's pretty fun. I like this one for a couple of reasons. I like that there's a Ken in there for the Barbie set, and then that number 16 car. I had probably 3 of that car specifically, and I always loved it. This set here, the once in a lifetime set, is the one that finished up the decade and finished up the millennium really, and it's pretty good. I think that the Barbies are fine. There is a nice variety as you kind of like walk through the time in there. The cars, though, in my opinion, leave a little bit to be desired. They're mostly just like black, and so yeah. This one here's a really early one. I like the this one's a really early one. I like the different colors on the cars. Some nice variety there. And the same goes for the Barbies as well. You know, they doing different things. I put this one as high in the Barbie and Hot Wheel ranking because I just think that the Barbies look so perfect. Like this is nostalgic wise what I think about when I think about McDonald's Happy Meal Barbies. They look like I don't know, cake. Like they look like food to me. Like I look at these, I'm like, you could eat it. I realize that's a weird thing to say, but that's what my brain does. The one from 1998, you could think like, well, this is kind of lame. There's not a lot of options, but I do like how much they've really gone in with like these are the 4 Barbie characters, not just a bunch of different versions of Barbie, Skipper, Barbie, Kelly, and Christy, plus some fun car designs like that gold car. That one's really cool. And I really just like kind of like the guts of just putting out a toy that is a kid in a high chair, and that's it. So I don't know. It's like so lame that I like it again. With 97, the Barbies aren't too much to write home about, but I love these Hot Wheels, specifically that tow truck. And I kind of like how the cars are a bit fatter, looking they're a little more cartoonish than some of the more traditional Hot Wheels. So the car designs from 96, also super cool. The green one with the lightning on it, had that one, loved it. I like the blue one with those flames, great colors. And then the zebra striped like drag racer is fantastic. Whoever made that decision, get that person a raise. But then I also like the Barbies here because it's like kind of Barbie around the world, and that's fun. I think that having them be distinct and different and knowing exactly what you're getting, it's a good time. And then that brings us to the 95 set, which is, in my opinion, the best one. And it's really the best for the Barbies. I love that there's the horse, and I love that you got Ken on a jet ski. This set with different cars and vehicles from Animaniacs is a lot of fun. I like that they are not just like plain old cars, they're showing off the characters, doing different things. Yeah, this one's fun. Littlest Pet Shop and Transformers Beast Wars in here. I'm not really strongly opinionated on the Littlest Pet Shop at all, but I do like the Transformers and that they actually do some transforming. That's good. It's even better in this next set, though. It's My Little Pony instead of Littlest Pet Shop. Again, doesn't really matter to me, but it's got that scorpion, that number 4. That's probably one of my favorite. Happy Meal toys that I ever got. That guy's definitely in a box in my parents' closet still. He would fight alongside the regular Transformers. Like when a toy can make that jump from just being a Happy Meal toy to being like part of your real toys, you know that it's a winner. Now, in general, this hook set is not that memorable for me, but that mermaid really does stick out. I definitely remember playing with that one in a bathtub and not even realizing that it was from Hook. And so, again, the branding on it, maybe not the strongest, but the fact that that toy was so memorable for me with like kind of like tie-dyed colors and everything on it. Yeah, that one definitely has to be pretty high up. The set from Space Jam is a lot of fun. Good characters in there. They're all doing their own little unique things. I think if they would have just put a Michael Jordan toy in there, I would have liked it even more. Another Halloween set showing up here. This time we are getting full figures, which I do like. They have their costumes on there. I think that they would be better if the costumes were able to be interchanged between the characters. It just doesn't work out. Their body shapes are too different. I think that out of all of them, I like Grimace as the ghost the most. These funny fry friends are fry toys done right, like not like those bendable weird ones we mentioned back in the F tier. These guys got interchangeable clothes and everything. They've got a fun design. Definitely think these ones are good. I love the cartoon Tailspin growing up. This is a fun set. I do like that they're actually die cast planes. They're actually made of metal, which means that they're high quality. Not something you would see happen at all nowadays. The second direct-to-video sequel to Aladdin, Aladdin and the King of Thieves, got some toys, and I do like that they're full, like little figures. Again, you actually can play with them and not just have them like sit there and like have them rattle around or whatever it is that they might do. And you don't have a bunch of repeats of characters either. Everybody gets a different toy. The set of Marvel toys we definitely had a few of growing up. Had the Hulk, had the Jubilee on the motorcycle. Out of all of the characters on vehicles, she's the best one in my opinion because you get to see her whole body. It actually looks like she could be riding that vehicle. Wolverine's not going to be flying the X Jet like that. What's going on? Half the toys are those action figures, which are fun. So yeah, this one gets to be up there. The Bugs Life toys similarly are where they are because some of the toys are the figures, some of the toys are just kind of little ride-alongs. So yeah, it gets to be in the B tier, not quite getting up into that A tier, though I do like that Hopper quite a bit. We're going to finish off the B tier with two Mattel end of the year Christmas collaborations where they had small versions of different toys that they would put out. I put this one first. It does have some cool things in it, like we got Barbie and you got a Hot Wheel. I like the little knight and the little dragon guy quite a bit too, but the other set, the 93 94 set, gets to be a little bit higher because it's got a couple things that really kind of uh, just hit a switch for me. That number five, the car where you could turn a key on it and it would open up and it had like missiles that you could launch out of it. Very cool. I like the shark car at number two as well. So yeah, that's why this one gets to be just a little bit higher. With this first set in the A tier, we're going to see some stuffed animals. And I think little stuffed animals, little plushes, are almost always going to be like a win. Speaking from my own personal experience as a kid and then my kids also, like these little guys can become just as important to them as something you would spend a lot of money on. Overall, I think these guys aren't particularly memorable, but they are soft and cuddly, and so that's important. Same thing's going to go for this next set. There are more options in here, so that's always cool. I like the little turtle. As we've seen already, there are a ton of Disney tie-ins with the Happy Meals. These ones are the third in a series where they're featuring like the VHS tape boxes. These ones are the lesser of the three because they're sitting on top of the box and they don't actually go inside of them. So that's why they end up here. Also, the choices when it comes to these movies, they're not the most exciting. Flubber, eh. Pocahontas 2, eh. You know, so yeah. This 40th anniversary set for Disneyland is really fun. It's got different rides that are in there. You can look through and see pictures. Now, I know I was dogging on that idea earlier with the Rescuers Down Under, but this one at least is also a toy. I love these wacky roller toys for Tiny Toons. I definitely had a couple of these. The Maximilian one with the little money that would pop up and down as you drove it was one that I definitely remember having. So yeah, good times with this. These toys based off the show Dinosaurs had little motion things where you could push a little button and the air would go through the tube and make them move. The baby would like smash stuff with the frying pan. I honestly don't remember what the other ones did because the baby was the one that we had. The show itself very nostalgic. The fact that there were toys tied into it also, uh, it's really scratches an itch. We got another example here of some stuffed animals just being a good fit. Plus, the movie Babe is an all-time classic. The Little Mermaid is a classic, and these toys really kind of live up to that. I love the Swimming Max. Disney's Animal Kingdom opening up in Florida was the theming for this next Happy Meal that I got in A tier. I like that there are real animals, that there are dragons, and there's dinosaurs and stuff in there too. So, the 101 Dalmatians set was next here from 1991. This one is so high for me because, again, got another one of the little guys, and so just one that like recognized and nostalgic for me. I don't even remember this character's name, but I do like the little cat on his back and everything. So personally, that's why it's up in A tier. A video release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves was in here too from 1993. I like that each one of the dwarves was featured in a toy. I had a few of these different ones. I definitely had like Prince Charming and the horse. The only one that I could still find around was this one, which is Sleepy, and he will yawn. He's kind of the scariest one. Oh, I don't know if the light is too much on it, but he's kind of the scariest one out of it. Like, I don't know, the way his eyes move and everything. But again, I like that you could essentially recreate the whole movie just by having these toys. More little fun figures to collect here in the A tier. Uh, I like that it's just classic Disney characters, but they're in the different costumes based off of Epcot. Now, this is where you can get that type of toy I mentioned before, where it's two characters in one car, but you kind of flip it upside down. It was for 101 Dalmatians. I mentioned it earlier. This one is with Tiny Toons, and so I like that better. Next up, we're going to be talking about some Halloween themed sets. These first few are going to be McNugget buddies, but with different Halloween costumes. I got this one set first. These ones are pretty fun. I like the spider. I think he's cute. I like this one a bit more though, because it's just like those classic monsters with like a mummy and a ghost and Frankenstein and a witch and a vampire. And so yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Now there are three different Halloween buckets in here that I'm going to have in the A tier. The first one is one from '94. I don't like that they changed the witch from green to purple in here. They do have the cookie cutter lids though, which is fun. The designs are getting a little too, I don't know, complicated for me. I like it when they're more simplified like they are here with the 1990 Halloween buckets. But my favorite of all of them is the one from 1992, where the designs are a little more detailed, but yet they're not so overly designed. And they do have those cookie cutter lids on there. So, in my opinion, these are the best. This first Mulan set, which I did mention earlier, is going to be in A tier as well. Actually, just getting figures for this one. I actually have the bad guy right here. He's got the little falcon or little bird guy can flap his wings. So it's a pretty fun one too. And then very similarly to that one, we do have the Tarzan set. Actually, had a couple of these ones grown up too. We had the Tantor, we had the saber. So yeah, super cool to be able to kind of reenact those scenes. Again, like it when they give you just a smaller version of the toy you would want to go out and buy. Now, this set is, I think, one that you would either hate or love. I really like it. The Inspector Gadget set. We did not collect all of them, so it's definitely not because I got all of the pieces. I just really like it in theory, right? I like that there are so many different toys. Unlike some of the other food toys, these ones are not based off of food you can actually get at McDonald's. I do like the apple a lot. I definitely remember being able to play with that one. Again, these toys are just kind of odd. And sometimes I like an odd, weird choice. Like, just go with it. The design on these is not scary. It's not like off-putting, at least in my opinion. I do like the steak. The fact that it has a mustache is a bit weird, but again, I like it. This Nickelodeon set, I mentioned it was very annoying when I was talking about it in the first video. And I stand by that, but I think that that's why I like it so much. You can squirt water in people's faces. The loudmouth mic that they call it is like in one of those echoing microphones, and those things are awesome. The Tamagotchi toys, I'm sure, is going to be in a lot of people's S tier, like top five. For me, I mean, they're really fun. They're cool. We had a number two, the one with the little dog. But my biggest exposure to Tamagotchi was through these Happy Meal toys. So I have way more nostalgia for these toys in particular than the actual Tamagotchi. So it's not boosting it up. Same thing's going to go for these Furbies, getting in on a very popular trend. There are a lot of different options, 80 unique Furbies, it says. And so that's a good reason to get people going back over and over again. If I had to choose between getting a real Furby and a McDonald's Furby, these ones are less scary because they're not going to talk to me. This Sonic the Hedgehog set is really fun. Four iconic characters. I think we had the Robotnik and maybe even the Knuckles too. Back then it was way different. Like it was hard to get toys based off of video games, and so to be able to go in and get these was pretty exciting. I love McDonald's celebrating its own anniversaries. So this happy birthday to the Happy Meals, to me is great. You get to walk through the years of all the different big things that were popular in the Happy Meals. I love that ET is in here. You got Sonic in there, which we were just talking about. You got the Happy Meal guys from McDonald's itself with the burger and the fries and the drink. Barbie, of course, Hot Wheels in there too, and of course Snoopy's got to be in there. This one's another set of stuffed animals. This one in particular is tied in with Lion King 2. The characters that are in here are very memorable, right? You got your Timon, your Pumbaa, you got your Zazu, your Rafiki. So, over half of these characters are people you're going to actually want to get, and even before you know anything about the new Lion King. So, yeah, good one. Definitely a good use of the plush toys. Now, I was always a Mario guy more than a Sonic guy, so it makes sense to have the Mario 3 toys in here as well. Used to have that Super Jump Mario, played with it all the time. By the time I got my hands on it, the suction cup wasn't working as well, so it wouldn't really jump that high, but still, really a fun toy to play with. Spider-Man the Animated Series had a fun set of toys in here. I love the Doc Ock, and the fact that there's just like a normal Spider-Man action figure in here too. The characters and the cards are fun. I love that Venom is one of them. Venom's just driving this big version of his head around. I've always enjoyed this version of the character, so I do enjoy seeing it in the Happy Meal. And the final toys that we have in the A tier are going to be the ones that tie in with Toy Story 2. This is a big set, a lot of different things to collect. I do like that pretty much everybody has one toy, so you're not like going to be like, oh, here's another version of a Buzz Lightyear. That's going to bring us up into the S tier. So if you're only interested in like what are my top Happy Meal sets, this is it. So we're going to start off, and it's going to be Beanie Babies. The Beanie Babies are going to be the first three sets that are on here. Again, it really kind of just captured like, okay, people love Beanie Babies. Here is a smaller version of the Beanie Baby. And the Beanie Babies at McDonald's really even took on a life of their own in that they became super popular and people are going out and trying to buy them too. I've got this set marked as my least favorite of the three. Comes out to me here is the Lobster. It's a very weird choice, and I like it. The Beanie Baby set I put in second place is this one here from 1999. I like the chameleon in there and the crab. And then at my house, we actually had the full size version of the ostrich and the blue jay. And so to see the little versions of those was kind of cool. And then the Beanie Baby set that I have in first is going to be that one from 1997, the first one. Love the platypus, like the turtle, and the bull is great. Now we're going to get into those VHS collection toys that I mentioned earlier. These first two sets are definitely better than the one from 98 that we mentioned before. This one had some really solid toys with Simba in there, Dodger, Tigger, Woody, but I just think the one that came before was a little bit better. With the 1996 one having Aladdin, Merlin, the one cat from the Aristocats that's playing the trumpet, and then Robin Hood, something that I don't see a ton of toys for. I love just how ambitious the 100 Dalmatians set is. The fact there were actually over 100 little Dalmatians that you could collect was just wild. The fact that people actually tried to do it is even crazier. The Hercules set that tied in with the theatrical release of the movie is the best Disney related set that they did in the 90s. I've got the Zeus here still. I like him a lot. Each one of these would go inside a different Titan or like a bad guy. Like I say, we're not all bad guys. The Pegasus is in there too, but a bigger toy, and it would go inside. The small toy would go inside the bigger toy. And so anytime you get two toys for the price of one is awesome, especially if one's a good guy and one's a bad guy. You can make them fight each other. This Looney Tunes set where you would have characters that could dress up as DC superheroes was awesome. The Daffy Duck as Bat Duck has always been a favorite of mine. Loved that I got to play with that one as a kid. It should be no surprise to anybody who's watched old videos on my channel that Batman toys are going to be pretty high on the list. This Batman the Animated Series promotion was great. I only remember actually having the figures. I don't think we had any of the characters in cars, but we had multiples of the Catwoman, the Riddler, the Batman, and the Batgirl. These toys passed that ultimate toy test where they would eventually go on to live with the regular Batman action figures, and they got tons of playtime in there. The McDino changeables are iconic. They are so awesome. I think that they've got to be at the top of a lot of people's lists. There are just a lot of different options in there, and they're so just kind of ingrained with McDonald's, you can't separate them. It's not like with some of these toys where it's like, well, which restaurant did that come from? You know for a fact these were from McDonald's. The designs were great. They were fun to transform. They weren't overly complicated, and the designs on them are just so good. Love the hotcakes pterodactyl. Obviously the best one. And then for me, the top Happy Meal from the 1990s is going to be probably the most controversial, and that is Batman Returns. The little Batmobile you can get in here is a perfect toy. It's so awesome. The fact that it can launch out like it does in the movie, that toy alone gets it into the S tier. The Penguin and the Catwoman cars just help move it even further up the line. The lore about how this is something that made it so companies would really question what movies they were promoting in what ways is also something that helps elevate it. I just love it. I love the movie. I love the toys. I love everything about it. And that's why it's my absolute favorite. Don't forget to let me know your favorites below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for future timeline videos on all things pop culture. See you then.